Have you ever wondered why you can honestly say you are trying your best, staying active, and doing all the exercises you're supposed to do, yet your body just doesn't seem to respond? You go for your daily walks, perhaps you do some gardening, or you even try the squats that every fitness expert recommends, but instead of feeling stronger, you just feel tired. Maybe your lower back starts to ache a little more than it used to, or your hips feel stiff and heavy, almost as if the muscles have simply gone to sleep and forgotten how to work. It is an incredibly frustrating place to be, and I want you to know right now that this lack of progress is not because you are lazy, and it is certainly not just a normal part of getting older that you have to accept. The reality is that there is a very specific, mechanical reason why this is happening, and it usually boils down to one missing link that almost nobody talks about when it comes to fitness after the age of 50. You see, most of the advice we are given is designed for bodies that are 20 or 30 years old. Bodies that haven't spent decades sitting at desks, driving cars, or managing the subtle shifts in posture that happen to all of us over time. When we follow that standard advice without addressing our unique needs, we often end up reinforcing the very patterns that are causing us pain. The hard truth is that if your pelvis, the central foundation of your entire body, is slightly out of alignment, your body physically cannot use your glute muscles properly. You can squeeze and squat all day long, but if that alignment is off, your brain will bypass the glutes and put all that pressure onto your lower back and your knees. In our time together today, we are going to change that approach completely. We are going to step away from the trends and look at a smarter, gentler, and far more effective way to build strength that lasts. I am going to walk you through a process that resets your body's alignment so that your muscles can finally do the job they were meant to do, helping you move with a sense of freedom and stability that perhaps you haven't felt in years. Before we get to the specific movements, we need to understand what is actually happening under the surface. As we move through our 50s and 60s, we don't just lose muscle size. That is actually the lesser problem. The bigger issue is that we lose the connection between our brain and our stabilizing muscles. Think of it like a house where the wiring has become a little bit loose. The light bulb is fine, but the switch isn't making a clean connection. When you try to move, your brain sends a signal to your hips to stabilize you, but if that signal is weak, your body panics. It tightens up your back muscles and your quadriceps to compensate. This is why you might feel exhausted after a walk, or why your knees hurt when you stand up from a chair. It's not that you are weak, it's that your body is compensating for a lack of stability. There was a fascinating review of clinical physiology recently that highlighted how common this pelvic misalignment becomes as we age, especially if we have had careers where we sat down a lot. This subtle shift rotates the pelvis in a way that turns off the glute medius and minimus. These are the deep, smaller muscles that are responsible for keeping you balanced when you stand on one leg or walk on uneven ground. When these muscles turn off, you lose the natural shape of the hip, and you lose that feeling of sturdiness. But the wonderful thing about the human body is that this system is not broken permanently, it is just dormant. We can wake it up, but we cannot do it by forcing our way through heavy exercise. We have to be smarter. We have to reset the system first. This brings us to the first step of our three-part journey today. We have to realign the pelvis before we try to strengthen it. Imagine trying to build a second story on a house where the foundation has sunk 2 inches on the left side. It doesn't matter how good the carpenter is, that house will never be straight. The same applies to your hips. We are going to use a very gentle, precise movement called a rock back with a crossover. This isn't a stretch, and it isn't a workout in the traditional sense. It is a neurological reset button. To do this, you will come down to the floor on your hands and knees in a tabletop position. If you need to, put a cushion under your knees for comfort. Now, looking down at your legs, I want you to take one ankle and gently cross it over the calf of your other leg. It might feel a little odd at first, but what this does is create a subtle internal rotation at the hip joint. This is the exact opposite position of the external rotation that causes so many issues for us as we age. Once your ankle is crossed, you are simply going to rock your hips backward toward your heels. Do this slowly. As you rock back, breathe out. Don't force it and don't round your back like a scared cat. Keep your spine long and straight. When you rock back in this crossed position, You are mechanically guiding your thigh bone back into the center of the hip socket. You are telling your brain, this is where the joint belongs. You hold it for a second, and then rock forward. You should aim to do this about 30 times. I know that sounds like a lot, but remember, this is a reset signal, not weightlifting. We are trying to grease the groove. You want to be rhythmic and soothing with it. Inhale forward, exhale back. By the time you finish, you might notice that your hips feel looser, or that you feel more grounded. When you stand up, that is the feeling of alignment. We are clearing the path so that the strength work we do later actually goes to the right place. Now that we have reset the foundation, we have to look at stability. Have you ever had that moment where you are walking and you turn quickly, or you step off a curb and feel a momentary wobble? That wobble is your body telling you that the side stabilizers, the glute medius, are asleep. These muscles are your protection against falls. They are what keep your pelvis level when you walk so you don't waddle or sway. To wake them up, we are going to use a modified side plank with a leg lift. Now, please don't let the word plank worry you. We are going to do a version that is accessible and safe. You will lie on your side, but instead of trying to be straight like a board, I want you to bend your knees so your feet are behind you. Prop yourself up on your elbow, making sure your elbow is right underneath your shoulder so you are supporting your weight on your bone, not straining your muscle. Lift your hips up off the floor so your weight is on your knee and your elbow. This is your base. Now, here is the magic part. While holding yourself up, take your top leg and straighten it out. Lift that straight leg up toward the ceiling slowly. You don't need to kick high, you just need to lift it until you feel the muscle on the side of your hip turn on. Hold it at the top for 2 seconds, and then lower it slowly. This is deceptive. It looks easy, but if you do it right, without twisting your body, 5 or 6 repetitions will feel incredibly challenging. And that burn you feel, that is gold. That is your body reconnecting with the muscles that protect your knees and lower back. By doing this, you are teaching your body how to stabilize the pelvis while the leg is moving, which is exactly what happens when you walk or climb stairs. You are building a safety mechanism into your movement. Breathe through it. Never hold your breath. If you find your body shaking a little, that is just your nervous system figuring out the new coordination. It is a good sign. So we have reset the alignment and we have woken up the stabilizers. Now, and only now, are we ready to build real, functional strength. This is where we introduce a movement that I believe is the single most valuable exercise for anyone over 50 who wants to stay independent and strong. It is called the supported single leg Romanian deadlift, or RDL for short. Now, usually when people hear single leg, they think of balancing acts and fear of falling. That is not what we are doing here. I want you to use support. Stand next to a sturdy chair, a countertop, or a wall. Place your hand on it. We are not trying to test your balance today. We are trying to strengthen your hip. By holding on, you take away the fear of falling, which allows your brain to fully activate the glute muscle without hesitation. Here is how you do it. Stand tall, holding your support. Shift your weight onto the leg closest to the chair. Keep a soft, little bend in that knee. Never lock it straight. Now, imagine there is a hinge at your hip. You are going to bow forward, keeping your back perfectly flat, while your other leg floats out behind you. Think of your body like a seesaw. As your chest goes down, your back leg goes up. They move as one unit. You only need to go down as far as your flexibility allows. If that is only halfway, that is perfectly fine. The key is that you should feel a stretching sensation in the hamstring and glute of the standing leg. Pause at the bottom, and then